Good afternoon, everyone. So this will be our next topic, the art of questioning. The following are the objective of our lesson. The first one is we should develop a deep understanding on the functional role of questioning in enhancing students' learning. Next one, we have critically assess the circumstances under which certain types of question may be more useful. And the last one, we have to frame questions that are appropriate for the target skills to be developed in the students. Even in today's modern educational practice, the art of questioning has remained one of the best tools in promoting effective learning. In fact, questioning continues to be an essential component of good teaching. There are even some people who believe that the effectiveness of a teacher can be measured by his ability to ask good questions. And yet far too many teachers take this teaching tool for granted or use it carelessly. Skillful questioning involves the first one, knowledge of the various uses of the question. Second, the characteristics of a good question. The third one, the techniques of questioning and the techniques of handling the learner's responses. It often takes many years of classroom experience, professional reading, and self-evaluation for a teacher to be proficient questioner. All the while, the teacher must make a constant and persistent effort to improve his questioning ability and technique, according to Dallau 2007. Teachers also spend approximately 80% of the school year or school day asking questions, according to Levin and Long 1981. Typical teacher asks between 300 to 400 questions per day. Good teaching is more giving of right questions than giving of right answers, according to Joseph Albert, 1888 to 1976. When we say question, it is any sentence which has interrogative form or function. So in the classroom, questions are considered as instructional cues of stimuli that convey to the student the content elements to be learned and direction for what they are to do and how to do it. It should also play a central role in the learning process. Good questioning is an excellent aid to teaching that is hardly utilized to the fullest extent. It is also a challenge to the higher ordered reasoning or thinking skills of the students. Good reasoning is a determinant of teaching and learning outcomes. We go now to the functions of questioning. Why do we ask questions? It boosts students' classroom engagement. Number 2, it drives students not only to know more, but also think more. Number 3, good questioning encourages deep thinking and higher level of cognitive processing. And good questioning encourages the same good questioning from the students as they discuss with their teachers and with each other. It is important for a teacher to always think of his or her intention for two same questions in the class. Another reason why we ask questions is to manage and organize people's behavior, to find out what people know, to stimulate interest in a new topic, to focus on an issue or topic, to structure a task for maximum learning, to identify, diagnose difficulties or blocks to learning, to stimulate pupils to ask questions, and to give pupils opportunity to assimilate, reflect, and learn through discussion. Effective questioning performs three functions. First, to identify the present level of understanding. Second, to extend and deepen learning. And to inform future planning. So, what is the purpose of questioning? Why do teachers ask questions? First one, to interest, engage, and challenge the learners. Another one, to check on prior knowledge and to stimulate, recall, and use of existing knowledge and experience in order to create new understanding and meaning. To focus thinking on key concepts and issues, to extend learners' thinking from the concrete and factual to the analytical and evaluative, and to lead learners through a planned sequence which progressively establish key understanding. To promote reasoning, problem solving, evaluation, and the formulation of hypotheses. To promote learners thinking about the way they have learned, and to develop critical thinking skills and inquiring attitudes and reinforce students' understanding. To provide feedback and enliven classroom discussion. To nurture insights by exposing new relationships. To assess achievement of instructional goals and objectives, and to stimulate students to pursue knowledge on their own. The purpose of asking good questions are generally pursued in the context of classroom recitation, defined as a series of teacher questions, each drawing out a student's response and sometimes a teacher reaction to that response. So we go now to the level of questioning. According to Bloom's taxonomy, it is in cognitive domain. So there are 6. The first one we have knowledge. The second one we have comprehension. The third one is the application. The fourth one is the analysis. And the fifth one is an evaluation. And the sixth one is a synthesis. So we will discuss the first one, which is the knowledge. So knowledge requires that the students recognize or recall information. For example, the question under the knowledge is, what is the main idea? What are the characteristics of? How it is related to? When was C.J. Corona impeached? So the words that we are used in under the knowledge is define, memorize, what, when, record, list, distinguish, identify, name, relate, which, indicate, write, select, where, and acquire. The second one is what we call the comprehension. So it requires the student to think on low levels such as the knowledge can be reproduced or communicated without a verbatim or repetition. So example, or what does singing blues imply? Which term does not belong in this sentence? A lion is too fried. Explain why Paul is a developing character in the story. So the following are the words that we use in comprehension. The first one we have restate, discuss, describe, relate, recognize, explain, express, illustrate, identify, locate, report, extrapolate, review, tell, infer, and others. Another one we have the application. So application requires the student to solve or explain a problem by applying what he or she has learned to other situation and learning tasks. Examples: looking at the map, state the possible location for the cultivation of wheat. Next is choose from the array of watercolors and paint a picture of a rock. How would you get in contact with the person who was supposed to meet you? So the following words are used in application. We have apply, demonstrate, illustrate, sketch, translate, interpret, employ, play, use, dramatize, practice, paint, operate, schedule, shop, and mold. The fourth one is analysis. So it requires the student to solve a problem through a systematic examination of facts or information. So the following are the examples. Study the pictures. What features of land allow cultivation? Which vehicles would most likely to be used to travel? So these are the words that we use under the analysis. We have analyze, compare, distinguish, categorize, differentiate, appraise, calculate, discriminate, test, criticize, diagram, inventory, question, relate, classify, and assume. The fifth one we have evaluation. So it requires the students to make an assessment of good or not so good according to some standards. So examples, indicate in what ways this is a beautiful form according to the stated situation, which is the most appropriate move the man could take. So the following words are used in evaluation. We have judge, appraise, evaluate, measure, revise, value, defend, indicate, assess, score, select, choose, estimate, rate, check the, decide, and many more. And the last one we have synthesis. So it requires the students to find a solution to a problem through the use of original creative thinking. Examples, design a sand table so that you can study different kinds of erosion. Other examples, offer two proposals to solving the crowding in our school halls at lunch. The following words used in synthesis we have create, hypothesize, invent, design, compose, plan, develop, propose, formulate, arrange, assemble, collect, construct, suggest, make up, and think of a way. We go now to the types of questions. So the first one we have interpretative question. So ask students to provide missing information or ideas so that the whole concept is understood. Number two we have does not have just one correct answer. Another one, correct answers are any answers that you can support with evidence from the text. And the best interpretive questions, one that generate the most engaging discussions, are those with several different correct answers. So we have here our examples. Is Margot a good person? Which has more of an effect on Jack's success, luck or intelligence? We have an inference question. It intends students to go beyond available fact or information and focus on identifying and examining suggestive clues embedded in the complex of network of facts or information. We have here our example. What do you know by looking at this picture? We go go now to transfer question. So transfer question, students are asked to take their knowledge to new context. Next one, we have predictive questions. It allows students to think in the context of hypotheses. Prompts the students to go beyond the default condition and infer on what is likely to happen if some circumstance change. Example, suppose the lion had been born with a much darker colored coat. What did you predict would happen to that lion in the wild forest? We go now to metacognitive questions. So it brings students into the level of regulation over their own learning. So it allows students to think about how they are thinking and learn about how they are learning first lesson. So example, the teachers not only asked to solve a word problem, but also to describe how the students is able to solve the word problem. And that's the end of our discussion for this afternoon. So for your activity, you have to give 2 examples under the stages of Bloom's taxonomy. So we mentioned the 6 stages in Bloom's taxonomy. So just give 2 examples for each stages of Bloom's taxonomy. Thank you so much everyone, and see you again for our next topic.